All right, when it comes to an emergency, minutes can certainly make a critical difference. And city leaders in Livermore and Pleasanton worry that ambulances are taking too long to respond. As Katie Nielsen tells us, there's questions about whether the current service provider is really the best solution for the Tri-Valley.
When someone calls 911 needing an ambulance, the expectation is that it will show up quickly. But according to a new letter from the city managers of Livermore and Pleasanton, that's not always the case. Livermore resident Jake Davis knows what it feels like to wait for an ambulance. When he thought he was having a heart attack, he called 911.
Fire truck was there within minutes, and they just kind of kept me, calm and everything. And after a while, the ambulance finally came.
It turned out to be an aortic aneurysm, and he had to get to the hospital right away. But according to a letter sent 2 weeks ago by the city managers of Livermore and Pleasanton, the county's ambulance service provider, Falk, is late to 1 out of every 6 calls.
It's kind of a crapshoot as to whether or not you're going to get an ambulance in time to help with whatever the emergency situation is.
Livermore City Council member Bob Carling says delayed response times by Falk are not new. At this same time last year, a staff report to the Pleasanton City Council showed because of delayed response times at the end of 2001, the county put Falk on a monitored performance improvement plan. The recent letter from the city managers acknowledges Falk has improved response times since then, but says it is still out of compliance. Alameda County contracts with Falk to provide emergency services to most areas in the county. According to that contract, Falk has to have an ambulance on scene within 10 to 14 minutes 90% of the time. But the letter sent by city managers say ambulances show up late 15 to 18% of the time in their respective cities. Falk representatives did not want to speak with us on camera, but did provide a statement saying the data presented in the letter is of unknown origin and supports no conclusion. We work closely with county health regulators on an ongoing basis to make improvements to the system.
We, the city of Livermore and city of Pleasanton, are concerned about this and trying to work with the county and with the ambulance service to provide the kind of response times we think our citizens and residents deserve.
As Jake knows, every minute matters in an emergency.
It's scary. I mean, the kind of stuff that could result from that.
Councilmember Carling says in a lot of ways the cities are in a tough position because it's the county that contracts with the ambulance service provider, not the cities. So in many ways, their hands are tied. He says he does hope during the next contract period that something is put in the language to ensure more adequate response times.
Now, Falk says part of that problem is that emergency rooms are full. So that means ambulances have to stay with patients, which means delays for new calls for service.